In 1914, Congress created the Federal Trade Commission to do what the Sherman Antitrust Act couldn't: a permanent independent watchdog. Built to monitor monopolies, investigate mergers, and protect ordinary Americans from concentrated power. 111 years later, the 5 largest companies in America are worth a combined $20 trillion. Not one of them has been broken up. This is the story of who guards the guardians, and what happens when the answer is nobody. If you're finding this series valuable, hit the like button. It helps more people find this story. The Federal Trade Commission Act of 1914 gave the new agency broad powers: investigate unfair competition, issue cease and desist orders, demand corporate documents, and refer cases to the Justice Department for prosecution. The Clayton Antitrust Act, passed the same year, banned predatory pricing, exclusive dealing contracts, and interlocking directorates, the practice where the same people sat on the boards of competing companies. In its early years, the FTC was aggressive. It pursued price fixing. It challenged deceptive advertising. It investigated anti-competitive mergers before they closed. For the first few decades, the architecture worked approximately as intended. Then came the Chicago School. In the 1970s, economists and lawyers at the University of Chicago argued that antitrust enforcement had gone too far. Robert Bork led the charge. His argument: the purpose of antitrust law was not to prevent bigness, it was to maximize consumer welfare. Defined almost entirely as lower prices. If a merger produced lower prices, allow it, regardless of how much power it concentrated, regardless of what it did to competition in the long run. Bork's 1978 book, The Antitrust Paradox, became the most influential text in antitrust law for the next 40 years. When Reagan took office in 1981, the Chicago School moved from academia into government. Merger challenges dropped. Price-focused consumer welfare became the only test that mattered. The ideology designed to prevent Standard Oil from reforming itself in new clothing had become the operating philosophy of the agency tasked with stopping it. The consequences became visible in the technology sector. In 2007, Google acquired DoubleClick, the dominant provider of third-party advertising technology. The FTC declined to challenge it. In 2012, Facebook acquired Instagram for $1 billion. The FTC approved it in 11 days. In 2014, Facebook acquired WhatsApp for $19 billion. Approved again. Google, Facebook, the two companies that would dominate digital advertising. Built through acquisitions the FTC waved through without resistance. Under the consumer welfare standard, Instagram was free. WhatsApp was free. How could a free product harm consumers? What the framework couldn't see, or chose not to see, was that in the attention economy, the product is not the app. The product is you. The ideology alone doesn't explain the FTC's record. The revolving door does. The commissioners supposed to regulate big tech arrived from law firms that represented big tech. When their service ended, they returned to those firms, or joined the companies they had been overseeing. The Bureau of Competition, specifically created to prevent monopolies, was led year after year by officials who had spent their careers defending the corporations the Bureau existed to restrain. It was not occasional. It was not exceptional. It was the pattern. George Mason University, heavily funded by technology companies, became a pipeline for FTC staff. Antitrust courses taught by big tech executives and lawyers. Students trained in industry-friendly views, moving directly into agency positions. The regulator and the regulated had become the same community of people, rotating in and out of the same buildings, carrying the same assumptions, reaching the same conclusions. In 2021, Lena Khan was appointed FTC chair, 32 years old, the youngest in the commission's history. No corporate law firm, no big tech clients, no revolving door conflicts. As a Yale law student, she had written a landmark paper arguing the consumer welfare standard was broken, that Amazon couldn't be understood through price alone, because Amazon was simultaneously a marketplace and a competitor selling on that marketplace. She was not a creature of the system she was being asked to run. Under Khan, the FTC became aggressive. It challenged Meta's acquisition of a virtual reality startup. It moved to block Microsoft's $68.7 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. It took on Amazon, Ticketmaster, and Kroger. The FTC lost, repeatedly. The courts, shaped by 40 years of Chicago school appointments, kept ruling against her. The judiciary had been so thoroughly transformed that the legal framework itself had become the obstacle. Was Lina Khan set up to fail? The revolving door had produced the commissioners who waved through the tech acquisitions, the professors who trained the staff, the judges who ruled against her. One person cannot dismantle in 4 years what the architecture built over 40. In January 2025, Khan was replaced by Andrew Ferguson. The enforcement posture shifted back overnight. Khan returned to Columbia Law School. The architecture remained exactly as it was. Stop and see the pattern. 1890. The Sherman Antitrust Act passes. Courts immediately find a loophole. 1914. The FTC is created to fix what the Sherman Act couldn't. 1978. Bork publishes The Antitrust Paradox. Consumer welfare replaces structural enforcement. 1981. The Reagan FTC stops challenging mergers on structural grounds. 2007 to 2014. The FTC waves through the acquisitions that build the tech monopolies. 2021. The most aggressive FTC chair in a generation is appointed. She loses in courts shaped by the ideology her appointment was meant to challenge. 2025. She is replaced. The enforcement posture reverts. The FTC was built to guard the guardians, and the architecture, the revolving door, the ideology embedded in the judiciary, the industry pipeline into the agency, ensures that guarding the guardians remains a theoretical proposition. The 5 largest companies in America today are worth more than the GDP of every country on Earth except the United States and China. Built through mergers, the Federal Trade Commission chose not to challenge, under a standard that defined harm as higher prices. In an economy where the most valuable products are free, the same question Juvenal asked 2,000 years ago, who guards the guardians, is the question the FTC has never fully answered. The architecture never changes. The names change. The industries change. The legal frameworks change. But the distance between the institution built to protect ordinary people and the interests it actually serves, that distance remains remarkably constant. The vault gets richer, and somewhere, always somewhere, something else is burning. Next video, the greatest gold heist in history, and the man who stole it. FDR and Executive Order 6102. Subscribe to Vault and Ruin. We go where the money went.